Hey everybody, I have a Advent season devotional for you, and I know we didn't get to one last week with Thanksgiving holiday, but um, Advent is such a great time of year to really get excited, and that's the thing I think I like most about Advent is the getting excited for the coming of Christ, for Christmas, for even Christmas morning for the young kids. It's about being excited about knowing what's to come. And I had a devotion this morning, um, and I'm not going to specifically reference any verse this morning because it really just dealt with the whole uh, leading up to Jesus' prophecy that Jesus being born in a certain way at a certain time. Um, but it had an insight that I'd never really thought about before. Jesus so often is compared to the second coming of David. That the Israelite people wanted a king, and they wanted another David. They wanted someone to come in and lead them and be this great, powerful Messiah who would free them and rule over them and be the greatest that anyone had ever been. And it wasn't until I read this devotional this morning that they started comparing Jesus to the second coming of Moses. And that piqued my attention because I'm a big Moses fan. I like Moses. I like the story of Moses. I like the personality of Moses. There's a lot of really powerful things there. And that was something I just kind of wanted to explore a little bit with you guys here this morning. Um, the parallels between Jesus and Moses are significant, okay? Coming from a place of the Israelites are stuck in bondage, okay? Now, Old Testament, they are literally slaves to the Egyptian people. In the New Testament, the Israelite people are a slave to their sin. They cannot break their sin cycle. That's what the entire Old Testament is showing that sin cycle over and over again. God grants them things, they live for a while, they fail, they fall back. It's this unending cycle of sin. That's where the New Testament Israelites were stuck in bondage. Parallel to the youngest born being killed, Pharaoh had the firstborn oldest male of all of the Israelite slaves killed to lower the population number. As soon as Herod hears that the coming king of the Jews is being born, he wipes out an entire generation of children. It's the same idea. The last thing that really got my attention was about the miracles. If you go back and you look at the Bible as a whole, from Genesis to Revelation, the whole thing, the two largest, biggest, most significant miracles that happen are pretty well, unquestionably, the parting of the Red Sea by Moses and the resurrection of Christ. Jesus did a lot of miracles. He walked on water. He fed the 5,000. He cured the lame. He raised others from the dead. In the Old Testament, God provided a lot of miracles. The pillar of fire and smoke, the manna, the quail, all these things, the holding of the sun. There's a lot of things that God did for the Israelite people at that time. But unquestionably, the two most significant miracles in the Old Testament is the crossing of the Red Sea. God literally led the Israelite people out of Egypt through an unpassable place to freedom on the other side. He led them out of their bondage through a powerful, unbelievable, scientifically impossible miracle. In the New Testament, Jesus does the same thing. He leads us out of our bondage to sin. In his resurrection, when Jesus is raised from the dead and saves us through grace from our bondage to sin, he is literally leading us through to freedom. These are the two things that should grab our attention. These are the two things that show us significantly that God is still with us, that it has always been God's plan, and it is still God's plan today. God's plan doesn't change. And I wanted to share this all with you here today in that anticipation. We know what's coming. We celebrate the coming of Christ. And maybe this one time, instead of hoping and preparing and getting ready for that coming king, the King of Kings, David's king. Maybe we go back and we look at the coming of Moses. Moses' Moses. The wise, the smart, the leader. The one who knew what was best. The counselor, Prince of Peace. That's the Jesus I want you to think on this week. Thank you all for continuing to stay with us. As always, share the videos. Pass them along to anybody you can. If anybody needs anything, you know how to get a hold of me. Or anybody in the church, we do have a prayer tree, phone tree set up for prayer requests or anything else. Please set that up. If anybody needs anything, contact somebody and we will get that sent out to everyone. We are all in this together. We are not going anywhere. And I don't care if we're in the building or not. We are all together, one church. You guys have a happy holidays this week. I hope everyone